Hello, my name is Aya. I'm an exchange student from Kazakhstan, and I'm interviewing Mrs. Watson.
Hi, I'm Liz Watson, and I teach PE at Charleston High School.
Okay, hi, Mrs. Watson. So, my first question is where were you born?
I was born in a city or suburb just outside of Chicago called Evanston, Illinois. And then I grew up in a town called Glencoe, Illinois, which is just a suburb of
Mm-hmm.
Chicago.
And how was it there?
It
Was
was
it busy?
awesome, right?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Where did you go to school?
I went for grammar school or elementary school, I went to a small private school called Sacred Heart, and I continued going private education for high school. And I
Mm-hmm.
went to a high school called Loyola Academy, which is in Wilmette, Illinois. And then decided to go on to college and started at Wisconsin Milwaukee, of which I transferred and got my bachelor's at North Central College, and then moved down here to Eastern, or down here to Charleston, to go to Eastern to get my master's.
Oh, okay. So, how is it different from Charleston?
How is Chicago
Yep.
or up
How is
north different?
Chicago different from Charleston?
In every way possible. It's big city life, right? There's a lot of shops and opportunities for different experiences that you may not get in a rural town. But the hominess of a small town you do not get up in Chicago. Growing up in Chicago, I knew most of my neighbors, but down here in Charleston, you know everyone, right? The small town feel is something that you can't find in a big city.
But would you prefer Charleston or Chicago to live in?
The older I have become, I've been more appreciative to small towns and to the closeness of relationships more so than materialistic things. So now in my life and even in my 30s, yeah, I would prefer Charleston over Chicago. I don't need to drive 40 minutes. That's somewhere that's 5 miles away from me, right? I like walking down the street and having people wave and say hi, and not in an environment where you're just getting to where you're going, your head's down and
Yeah,
earbuds in, and yeah, and all that stuff. So definitely small town.
I agree with you on that. And why did you decide to be a teacher?
I decided to be a teacher through athletics, really. I played sports in high school, and because of that, we also ran camps in the summers. So I worked with kids learning their basketball skills and continue that even when I was in college and playing in college. And I just loved seeing kids at their best, right? And seeing their growth. And that just kind of planted the seed. When I started college, I definitely was not going that route. I was looking at criminal justice. I was looking at, and we talked before about how I had some other aspirations too, but education kept on coming back, and specifically then physical education. Like I loved seeing kids doing gross motor activities and movement. It really sparked an interest for me.
Was your family athletic?
Uh, Not really. I mean, in their own way, they were, but it wasn't like they were on successful teams. My family was more into theater and the arts, but definitely were also physically active and were able to be in that world too. But yeah, but definitely creativity was more what was in my family.
Hmm. Okay, interesting. Oh yeah, about your. I'm gonna ask you about your basketball experience and volleyball experience. So, why did you decide to become? Okay, again, why did you decide to become a basketball and volleyball coach?
So growing up, I was always tall, and people aren't going to let you go through this world as a tall person and not do something athletic, right? They're going to kind of nicely force it on you in some way. So going to that small private school, growing up, that small elementary school, there wasn't everyone had to participate in everything, because my graduating class in eighth grade was only 11 kids. So I mean, the girls played volleyball, they played basketball, they were the cheerleaders. I mean, we did it all. And then in high school, I just decided to continue playing sports. And then from that, and from doing the camps that I coached throughout the summers and stuff, that and helped out those kids, it really just I just felt this desire to coach then, right? And then being a physical education teacher, it is really looked upon that department to help out in extracurriculars when you are hired as an employee of a district. So coaching basketball and volleyball, I was fortunate enough to where those positions were open that I could coach those. Yeah.
Have you ever wished to be? Have you ever wished to have another professional?
Did I have another dream of sorts?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did, 100%. So again, my family was more of the creative route. A lot of musical theater was involved and plays. And I wanted to be that. I really wanted to be on stage. I loved that world. I was a part of it as in most of my life that I could be. I was a part of local community choirs and community theater and whatnot. And that was definitely something I was interested in. Yeah.
And have you ever been in movies?
I have. When I was in elementary school, there was a director named John Hughes. There is a director named John Hughes who directs most of his movies in the Chicagoland area. And he put out a call for people to be extras in his movies. So my mom, I'm the youngest of 5. My mom signed us all up to try to be an extra in some of his films. So we got called back and we got to do that. So yeah, I was in the movie Curly Sue. This is so old. These are like in the 90s. But I was an extra in the movie Curly Sue. I was an extra in the movie Folks with Tom Selleck. I was in some pilots, some television pilots as an extra. And again, when you say extra, like it's those people walking in the background, right? It's the white noise that's happening when the scenes are going on. And it was such a fun experience. It was really cool. Yeah.
Do you think nowadays you could be a successful actress?
You know what? If I were growing up now and how you guys are growing up, I think that my drive to be an actor would have been more received, right? I think that the world is more receptive to there being tall females or tall females in roles that are taller than maybe the male counterpart. But I truly feel like the universe allowed me to have that opportunity in that world of musical theater and of movies and of TV, but ultimately that this world of movement and teaching is just a way of acting, right? I mean, really, as a teacher, you go in front of a stage every day of an audience, and it's your job to entertain them and provide this information to them that's, they want to listen to, they want to enjoy, they want to come back for. So I feel like that's been my way of still allowing it in my life. Whether or not I would be successful in it today, I don't know. But it's fun. It's fun just knowing that I was given those opportunities, right? Like it's not a look back and say what if type of thing. But much different world than what it was 20, 30 some years ago.
Yeah,
that's for sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you, Mrs. Watson.
Thank you, Aya,
for your time.
Appreciate you.
Yep. Thank you, Mrs. Watson, for the interview and your time. It was really interesting, and thank you, everyone, for your attention.